Okay, I'm trying to bring you in again, so hold on a second. I'm inviting you to come in. Hey, y'all, I'm sorry about all of our technical issues. Y'all hear me now? Hey, Michael. Hey, Vonnie. Hey, Angel, you came back. I'm sorry, y'all. We having all these technical issues. Coy, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, do you all hear me now? Can someone say they hear me? Angel, do you hear me? Hey, Michael, do you hear me? Yes. Okay, do you hear Coy?
I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me?
Yes. Can you all hear Coy? There's a way to skin a cat. Tanya does not go down easily without a fight. Okay, I have.
Everybody can hear
me? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right, awesome. You hear Coy too, Angel? All right, we're going to get started. I am so sorry for the technical issues. This is, y'all, I'm a project manager. I don't do this kind of stuff, but I have to learn. Forgive me, because I should know how to do this if I'm in this line of work. So forgive me for today. And Coy and I, we work together on the radio station. I'm blessed to work with him. And I'm just surprised we had these issues today. But I have the one and only, I'm sorry you can't see him, but I did send a picture earlier. He is an awesome comedian. His name is Coy Lasone, and he is an international comedian who's opened up for Chris Tucker, Aretha Franklin, just to name a few. He's appeared on national television. He's performed for our U.S. troops. He's toured overseas in Germany and the Netherlands. He's performed for Dr. Tony Evans at their church, and he's done some single ministry and marriage retreat work. So he's just a phenomenal individual. And he also works as a producer, sales at WBGR radio station, and that's where we met. And we were just talking about relationships in general after one of my shows there this month with Minister Allison Daniels, and we talked about nice guys and the issues that they have in relationships and how hard it is for them. Hey, y'all, thanks for joining tonight. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Where does the good guy fit in? And why do women diss the good guy? So we have Coy on tonight. Coy, you want to help us with some of these questions, and they're going to start coming in. One person's already said, Tay said, nice guys always last. To me, a bad guy. Interesting. Thank you for that. So Coy, what would you like to say about the bad guys? I'm sorry, the good guys. How can we make this work?
Well, I think a lot lies with the misconception. Because if you realize it, anyone who's going through counseling, anyone who's going through therapy, you never hear anyone say, "Oh, I'm in therapy. I'm in my session because he's too nice. I'm in my session because he treats me like I deserve to be treated." Like, you never hear that. You know what I'm saying? You never hear that. When people are in therapy, marriage counseling, whatsoever, the problem is they'll say, "Well, he doesn't love me," and then she might say, "Well, she doesn't respect me." Those are the key things. And then, so I think what happened is society has put a level of respect towards the bad guys, and there seems to be more rewards towards the bad guys. Meanwhile, the nice guy is finishing last because he just hasn't been given the opportunity or has the skills to know how to talk to women appropriately in a way where they can feel attracted to them. You feel me? Because basically the nice guys, they tend to talk to women as a friend or as to give them respect. And I think in one of your questions, Tanya, you had mentioned the respect that these nice guys give women. They do, because basically that's how they were raised, most of them, you see? You know, a lot of nice guys will say, that's how my mother, you know, if they were raised by a single parent, well, that's how my mother told me to treat women, to treat them with respect, to open the doors for them, to give them flowers, and all these things that these nice guys so-called do, they still ending up last.
Well, I tend to think, you said something about we respect the bad guy. I tend to disagree that women respect the bad guy. I don't know. That's why I thought this show would be good. I don't know why this conversation would be good. I don't know why women will even be interested in a bad boy when they're raising children, when they're trying to be serious about their life, when they're committed with what they want to do to achieve things in life. And a bad guy is not into it to be in love with them, to marry them, to be there forever. I don't have an answer for that. But I wanted to correct you on one thing. I don't think women who are with bad guys are with them to respect them. It's a quality that they're attracted to, and not necessarily a quality, a characteristics that they're attracted to that makes them interested in a bad guy. But it doesn't mean that they respect the bad guy. I believe they respect the good guy more than they would a bad guy. I just don't think they understand that a man, they don't focus on the fact that a good guy is going to be there for the long haul, and the bad guy is only going to be there for a moment. That part I agree with you. I don't think they understand that, and they go for it. But you're right. The good guy is taught to be respectful to women. Their moms have taught them. They won't cheat on you. They have too much respect for their mother and their daughters and their sisters and so forth, and their female cousins. They're just good guys completely. They won't ever curse you out and call you names. They'll love your kids, all of your kids, and they're smart. They're appreciated at work, and they will bring the bacon home to you. They won't share with their mistress and so forth. They won't have a mistress. So as a good guy, share with us some of the experiences that you have been faced with in dealing with people, dealing with women in relationships.
Well, you know, I would say that from my experience, I had to understand where women were. Now, you said something that was very interesting. You said, well, why? I don't understand why they would go with these bad guys who totally are not into them, who does not respect them. I mean, everything, you can go down a list and you're saying to yourself, why is that? Why is that? Why are they going through this with these guys? Here I am. And that's one of the things that I was very confused about for the longest time. I could never get it, Tanya. Like, you know, why? How come she's telling me about the guy, and I'm right here the whole time? You know what I mean? So it's baffling to the nice guys to say, you know, I remember when their birthday is. I remember, you know, what their favorite color is. And I remember all these things, and I'm showing them all of this attention, but yet the guy who doesn't hardly call, she's worrying about where is he? He hasn't called me back. He hasn't texted me back. Meanwhile, if she was to call you, you were there. If you said you were going to call her later, you did. You kept your word. When you showed up on time. You know, the bad guys, they might show up. They'll probably show up late. but she gets in the car with that person. So for the longest time, Tanya, it took me a minute to really understand what is it that I'm doing wrong. Should I bring on the behavior of a bad guy so that way I can see results? You know what I mean? I didn't have anyone to really sit down and talk to me. How do you talk to women? How do you get women to give you a call back? No one really showed me how to do that. So those were some of the obstacles that I became very frustrated about, Tanya. It was like, what in the world? What's going on? Like, I'm go to church. I mean, I do what I think I'm supposed to do. I try to be responsible best way I can. You know what I mean? I'm really sincere when I said I'm interested in you. I'm not interested in your pants or trying to get in your pants. You look good in your pants, and I give you that. But, you know, my end game is really to have a committed relationship. So, Tanya, to answer your question, it's just a matter of finding the woman, and I mean woman, right? Not a girl, but a woman who is mature enough to really see a man for his character and not because he looks like an ex-boyfriend that put her on her pretty good. You know what I mean? Or looks like the dude that she's used to seeing on hip-hop videos, or someone who's attractive that has the tattoos or the type of build, or who is 6'2". You know what I mean? Those women are the ones that fall into those traps. And Tanya, let me say this. I know I'm saying a lot, but a lot of these so-called bad boys have experience, so they know what to say to the sister because they have the swag, because they have the experience. As a nice guy's advocate, I can tell you right now, these nice guys, they don't have the experience. When you don't have enough experience, guess what? You lack confidence. And you hear women say all the time, well, that's the reason why nice guys end last is because they don't have enough confidence. You have to have confidence. Well, you do, but that comes with experience. But with the right experience, then you can be able to manifest that without having to do that just for a lustful purpose, but actually for love, not for lust.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yes, it does. But I'm sorry you have experienced all of that, being that I'm a woman too. And it's hey everybody, thanks for joining. I cannot see comments. I don't know if comments are coming in. I apologize if I don't see them. But I'm not seeing any come in. But we're talking to comedian Coy Lasone, who is also a very key player at WBGR online radio station. And he is talking to us tonight about how the good guys are being treated by women. And Coy, I would like to say that I think women who run from good guys, who run from respectful guys, are not respectful of themselves. And they're not ready to be dealing with someone who will love and treat them with admiration and respect, mainly because they're not ready to treat themselves like that.
And another thing too, Tony, I want to add on to what you're saying. The other reason is because they haven't seen that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you're raised in a home where no one gives a flip flop about, you know, if you're used to seeing your mother get abused by the boyfriend or the stepfather or your real father, and your uncle is bringing someone to the cookout, someone new every single. Your brother's running through women, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You don't really get to really understand and see how you're supposed to be treated and how a good guy really is. So when you're raised in that environment, Tanya, you receive that environment as normal.
Absolutely.
So when someone comes at you with decency and says, hey, you know what, I'd like for us to, you know, whatever the pickup line is, as corny as it may seem, she's not receiving it, and she looks at that person as some sort of, you know, quirky, nerd, awkward type of dude. And she's like, whatever, get out of here. I mean, you're nice and all, but, I mean, we can be friends. But she doesn't entertain that individual because from her environment, that's not what she's used to seeing.
Absolutely. And they're afraid of that environment. I once was told by a coworker of mine years ago that he was in a complicated relationship because the woman that he was dating, that he was very much in love with, really thinking about marriage with this woman, but she was always waiting on him to curse her out or strike at her.
Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't do that, she thought he was waiting for to the last minute to do it, which means it would be worse for her. So she was encouraging him to get it over with and do it now versus later because it would be worse, because this poor young soul was obviously in abusive relationship after abusive relationship, and she expected him to be the same way. And he was a very nice young man, brought up the right way, as you described, you were brought up, and he couldn't fathom cursing a woman out or treating her any other way outside of being a lady. And she was upset with him because she felt he was holding it all in, and she was anticipating the destruction, and he was not going to give it to her. So he ended up having to break off that relationship because he knew that it wasn't going anywhere, because she wouldn't allow it to go anywhere, because she was expecting him to be someone that he was not. And I think she was encouraging him to hit her and to speak ill of her, because she didn't know any other way. And she couldn't believe she finally hit the jackpot. She just thought he was holding off on being destructive with her.
Yeah. So, and a lot of I'm glad that he realized. And that's another thing. You said something earlier, Tanya. You said, these women need to start respecting themselves in order to really understand, who's in front of them, who's a potential good guy, a nice guy. The nice guys need to do the same thing. A lot of times these nice guys will just go for anyone who accepts them, and sometimes they don't have any respect for themselves. So a lot of these nice guys will end up with a woman who's overly aggressive, you know what I mean, or who wants to receive that type of abuse. Well, if she's already telling you that, then you should already hit the road running.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Which is what he did.
That is a red flag
all up and down, because she would be the type that would provoke him to do it just so that she can be hit, so she can be comfortable in the relationship. Now, that's a person that needs a lot of psychiatric help. And that
might be a person that might need a straitjacket as well. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
you have to stab him up so he can, revolt. Do something. Hit me back.
Yes. And unfortunately, a lot of women who have been in broken relationships and have not healed from that are actually not in a position to know what it feels like to be with someone that's doing a good thing, that's being respectful, that's honoring us as women. You can't go from that ugly situation to that beautiful situation without it being some drama on the inside for that woman. And they typically may run from that until they grow up, until they go to therapy, until they get in prayer, until they get their minds conditioned. That's why I said women need to be prepared, because their knight in shining armor might be right there in front of them, but they won't see them if they aren't prepared for that relationship. And that's what you see.
Shining armor might be in the friend zone.
Yes, absolutely. That friend might be just the person that loves them, that's in their life to be there through thick and thin, and they're still going to that friend telling him about how all these men are dogging them out. But what I like to share with people that read my books is, if we're the common denominator in all that drama, It's us that needs to be reckoned with. It's us that need to be fixed. And I know we're not a machine. I realize that, but we have to fix our minds so that we won't even attract the bad guys and start appreciating the good guys. Because if our confidence is right in ourselves, we won't want anybody in our lives but a good guy. But if our confidence is all broken because of our family history, because of how we were brought up, how we've been in marriage after marriage that didn't work, or abusive boyfriend relationships, you don't know when you have it good because all you've had is bad. It would be nice if you could see, well, wow, this one beat me up, but this one never touches me. This in that matter, this one is always respectful. This one is always saying kind things to me. You would think it's a no-brainer, but for some reason, if our bodies and our mind is conditioned to bad things, if we don't rectify those bad things, that's all we'll see is the bad things, and we'll continue to be attracted to those bad things because we haven't fixed it. We got to fix what's broken. So don't take it personal if a woman disses you because you're a good guy and she doesn't want you in her life. That is going to be her problem. It's not your issue. And you continue to be how your mother raised you to be respectful of women, because eventually you're the one that's going to get the prize. And eventually that woman that turned her back on you is going to regret it down the road, because at some point women do get tired of bad men in their lives. They do get tired of the abuse, of the verbal abuse. They do get tired. But again, if they don't get tired and they get conditioned to that kind of treatment, it never changes. And it's the same old, same old. And that's unfortunate.
You're absolutely right. I've had women who have married call me.
Yes.
And try to and apologize.
Right.
You know, and wish they would have, married me instead. You know what I mean? I'm telling you the truth. I mean, there's been women who they regret, and I've heard other stories of other women, in their cities. These are women, they would say, you know what, I met this one guy, and I tell you, I really wish I didn't, you know what I mean? I really wish I would have gone with this guy, because I went through so much other stuff that I didn't have to go through. So, it's worth to really understand the nice guys. And know, and believe me, I know they may not have the best thing that they can really say to really swag, the swagger. They may not have the swagger. They may not have the height on them. They may be a little boring, or they may, play video games. I don't know what the nice guy stash is, whoever they are. But you got to understand that, hey, look, you know what? This guy's really interested in me. I'd like to know what he's more about. Yeah, he doesn't really dress, but dress can change. You know what I mean? You could take the brother shopping and say, hey, look, you look great in this. Maybe you should try looking in that. If the guy's not confident enough, give him, hey, look, where do you want to sit at the movies? You know what I mean? Where do you want to go? It's all up to you. I'm gonna leave it up to you because I want you to make the decision. I believe that you can make the decision. I'm gonna leave it up to you. So there's a lot of things that the nice guys, of course, need to work on, but it helps if the woman is interested in the guy, and like you said, Tanya, gives the guy an opportunity to say, you know what, he's not an abusive dude, he's very respectful, so I'm going to give this guy a shot and, and help him along the way. And he'll get the confidence after a while. Why? Because you actually called him back, just giving the brother a call back is enough to kind of build him some excitement. And if he calls you more than once and you want him to call you, tell him, hey, look, I love talking to you. I enjoy talking with you. But, you don't have to call me as much. I'm still interested in you, but you don't have to call me as much. I mean, some nice guys tend to overdo it because they're overly excited about a woman actually giving them some attention finally. So I just want to say that little tidbit for these women if they come across a type of dude like that.
I agree that men do, the nice guys do, they have a responsibility in this too. And they do not need to be so eager, and they need to step back a little bit and flex their shoulders. I'm a man. I can
That's
do
right.
this. I can be
That's
confident.
Right.
I can handle this. I'm not going to let this woman intimidate me. And if she wants me, fine. If she doesn't, it's fine. You good guys have a tendency to put all the onus on the female that they're interested in, and women usually take advantage of that situation. So
yeah, they do it. And when they take advantage, it's a lot of money that's being lost. It's a lot of hearts that's being broken. And then the worst thing that comes out of that situation, Tanya, is that they then turn themselves into a bad boy.
Yes, because they stop caring and so forth. They do. And they start adapting those traits of a bad guy because a woman has burned them. But on the other hand, back when I was younger, I did have some very, very nice guys coming at me, but they always thought they had to shower me with all these gifts. And if you said no, they wanted you to have them anyway. And then they became insistent on, you got to take this because it's a gift. I'm only trying to give you nice things. What's wrong with you? You're not accustomed to nice things. No, my dad taught me, if you start accepting gifts from men, you better be ready for a relationship with men, and you better be and you better be prepared for a relationship where you are in a relationship, not as a friend, because at some point they're going to expect you to deliver on all those gifts that they've showered you with. So I was very skeptical about this one nice guy in particular, and he would not stop. It was like fur coats, jewelry, whatever, even down to trying to buy me a house. But his goal was for me to marry him. He was much older than me. Pardon me?
Was he African?
No, he wasn't African. Okay. He was a African American black man who lived in this area. And and he just knew what he wanted, and he wanted to go after that no matter what. And he was a nice guy, never hurt anybody.
Happened?
Pardon?
What happened, Tanya?
Well, what happened is I told him I wasn't interested in a relationship where I had to be married to him, because I had just got out of a marriage. And he accepted that, but he still wanted to be in my life, and he still wanted to get married eventually. So his objective was to still marry me in spite of me not wanting to be married now. And I've had that happen at least 3 times in my life with nice guys. One was a Italian. I'm like, I ain't marrying you, and your family throw me in the ditch somewhere one day because they're mad because you married a sister. I can't do that. We can be friends. No, I don't want to be your friend. I want to take it to the next level. I can make all your money problems go away. I can send you to school. I can do this. Yeah, he could have done all those things. Yes, he could have. But my life and my children's life would have been hell, because he also had children, and he also had an ex-wife, and all of them were Italians. And I did not know, based on what I knew about those relationships, I didn't think it would be good for me to do that. And that was my decision. So you got a nice guy.
You had 3 nice guys approach you wanting to marry you.
Yes.
And you didn't see any flaws in their characters whatsoever?
Any flaws? Just that they were pushy in what they wanted, because they were successful men. They were pushy. You don't tell a successful, well-to-do guy no. You don't tell them no. They're not accustomed to hearing no. So I'm sharing this with you because there's the other side of that nice guy that women sometimes they probably do need to run from, because they already have in their mindset what they're looking for in a woman, and they just want that woman. They don't care about what that woman thinks. They don't care that she has children from another marriage and how that's going to play a part and what's that going to, they don't care about that. Their focus is getting that woman at any cost and taking care of her at any cost. So to me, it's almost like a lot of nice guys will buy, and bad guys too, but mostly nice guys will feel like they have the power to buy a woman. And then what? What happens when they buy that woman? That woman does marry them. All hell breaks loose in that relationship.
So for these men that had approached you, did they pretty much, I guess, knew everything that there is to know about you? Did they know that you just got out of a marriage? Did they understand why you've gotten out of a marriage? Did they see the divorce papers? Did they find out where you were from, where you were born? Did they get all of the information that they needed to make that decision final for them?
They saw all of that. Their goal was to make me happy, take away all the sadness at any cost. And these were nice guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
See, the flip side of that, Tanya, is that that's a confusing message, because when you finally have the confidence and you know what you want, because women will always say, well, a man knows what he wants. When he knows what he wants, he goes after it. I like a man who's confident. I like a man who has a little who's aggressive and who's confident.
Yes.
So all of these men they knew what they wanted. They were confident in what they wanted. They knew everything that there was to know about you from beginning, from when you were an embryo to where you are now an adult. All of what you've gone through. And they said, you know what, in spite of everything, I still want to marry you. I still see myself being married to you. And after all of that, you still say no. Because
it's not what they see, it's what I see too. And all the money in the world doesn't make a marriage work. You got to have more substance than that, than just a bunch of cash.
So you wasn't buying into all of the assets that they had.
No.
You just didn't feel like there was some sort of chemistry with these guys. Is that right?
It wasn't just about the chemistry. Remember, the Italian person had a family, a bunch of spoiled kids that he was taking care of that were like in their 30s. And here I am in my 20s. You see that? My stepkids would have been older than me. And they would have saw me as a money-hungry wench coming into their family. And I would have seen it that way too if the shoe was on the other fence. So I was not even going to subject myself to that kind of relationship with somebody because he was blinded in love as I could see it. He wasn't looking at the big picture. His career, my career, where he worked, his children, his ex-wife, that he still gave her lots of money because she was an ex-wife and took care of 5 kids for him. So I think it's what you said earlier in the broadcast. What you said was you women who come, these type of dudes that do come to them, they're not ready. And what I'm hearing you say is basically you were not ready for those type of dudes. You weren't ready to handle that responsibility. Am I right? Absolutely. Okay. Now, never was I not confident in a relationship. But I think women who typically don't want a good man in their life is because they're not ready, because they don't feel good about themselves and who they are. I have never had a problem with good guys in my life. I just married wrong. But I've always had good guys in my life. So I just married the wrong ones. And I won't say I married the wrong ones at this point in my life. I take that back because they gave me my beautiful children. So I won't say that. I won't say that they're bad guys. But I would say I did not marry wisely. Is that better? Is that better?
Right.
But the bad guys, we are interested in the bad guys for the excitement, the fun, the chase, the adventure. The good guys are plain and simple. They know what they want. They have goals. The bad guy may not even know what a goal is. But a good guy has goals, ambition. He knows what he wants to do in life, and he wants to do it with a family, which is really good. But if a woman is not true to herself, and all she's used to is running behind some man that's been lying to her and telling her negative things, well, that's what she's accustomed to. So some good guy with plans, oh, I want to do this with you. I want to be with your children. I want to take care of all those 5 kids you got running around. They were like, what's wrong with him? Something's got to be wrong with this man. He wants to take on my children and take care of us and have us a home, and something has to be wrong with him. They have that same mentality as my coworker's ex-girlfriend. The same mentality. They think something is wrong with you because of your characteristics, because they don't know they're not familiar with someone with those characteristics.
Yeah, so people, misery loves company.
Yes, absolutely.
People love to be in a familiarity with stuff that they're used to. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're in high school, if you're in elementary or middle school, you like to sit with the kids that you are used to sitting with because that's who you know all year long.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's very rare that you're going to sit with somebody that you don't really know, that you're not accustomed to. I mean, so, you know, it's just a matter of starting early and getting understanding of what character is. And a lot of us, and even with nice guys will tend to look, you know, at the physical as well. But at the end of the day, you got to still look at the character of the individual, because that's who you're going to end up with, is that character. You know what I mean? So I think if we start teaching our children to base people on their character, judging them on their character, then guess what? The bad boys won't have a chance.
Right.
And they will lose. And then guess what they have to do now? Oh, I gotta step up. I gotta be respectful. I gotta bring chivalry back. I've got to do all these things because I'm not getting and seeing any results, because these nice guys seem to be catching all the women.
Yes.
So, you know, just sleeping around ain't gonna work. So let me really get to know this sister and see how that pans out, because the way I'm doing it, it's not working out for me because I'm losing. That's what has to continue to happen, Tanya. If not, you'll have more broken homes dealing with bad boys. You'll have more women going through trauma situations, being abused. You have all of these issues after issues, baggage after baggage, dealing with these no good bad boys.
I know.
And then guess what? The nice guy will start feeling the repercussions of the relationship from the bad boys, because now she don't trust you because of what the bad boy used to do. So now she's looking at you, checking your phone, you know, nervous because you're coming home late, and now she's got 20 questions for you only because of her past relationships.
Absolutely.
That she made bad choices, and as you said, they married unwisely, and down the results, guess what? the nice guy's catching all of the hell because of the insecurity that the woman has now placed in trusting a bad boy.
Yes. And it is up to women women don't realize it, but we have all the power. We have all the power, where if we raise the bar, but wait a minute, we cannot raise a bar if we're insecure with who we are. We cannot raise a bar if we are insecure with who we are. But once we get our life right, and I stress this on every live, we have to be prepared for the good man in our life. In order to take advantage of the power that we hold, we have to place conditions, what we will not accept, and we have to stand by those conditions. And if we don't, we will continue to be connected with a bad guy. A bad guy could be a husband that's cheating on his wife, that we happen to be the mistress. That's a bad guy. If you're cheating with, as a bad guy, if you are dating someone who you know he's been faithfully in a relationship with someone for the last 3-4 years, that's a bad guy that you're hooked up with. If you know a man just had a baby by Linda, and Tanya is going to come on the back end and date him, and he just had an infant born, that's a bad guy. That's a bad guy.
That's a bad guy, Tanya. And you said something. You said women have all the power. And see, part of that is part of the problem. And let me clarify that. Which women have all the power. They do have the power to really change the man. I mean, a lot of people will disagree with me on that. But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of times women have too much power, and they think, guess what? They think they can handle the bad boy, right? Mm-hmm.
They think they can change, not handle him, change him. They think, yes, they think there's
change him.
Yes.
But I think they can pretty much control. Let's just be real. Just that they can control. That, I think that's the word we're looking for. Not even change, but just that they can control a pit bull. That they can control a Doberman. They can control a wild animal. That they can control a Bronco. That they can control. Once I get with him, watch this. He's gonna do A, B, C, and D. I don't care if he had 2 or 3 baby mamas, but when I'm with him, it's all about me.
Absolutely.
And I feel special because he can have anyone else.
Absolutely.
But he's with me.
That's exactly right. And that's what we have to, that's where our power comes in. If I'm out on the dance floor and I'm having a great time, I'm like, ooh, yeah, look at this fine brother here. And he asked me about my living situation. I don't know why people get personal on the dance floor, because I'm just dancing. But I've had somebody ask me once, where do you live? Okay, I told him. And then he says, are you single? Yes, I'm single. Then he says, well, then I say, are you single? Well, this first he says, well. So that lets you know a woman with power is already got her posture erect, because she already knows what's coming out next, because you already know the signs. That's a woman who's got it together, okay? You have to go through some things to get there. So I would automatically know if he says, well, he's getting ready to formulate how he's going to tell me he's not single. So he says, well, I live in the house with my ex-wife, and I'm in one room and she's in another room. Now, what would a normal woman do with that information? Process it? No. Why would you process what he just said? He just told you, I'm at home with my wife. Don't take in consideration he said they were in separate rooms. Half the time they're lying when they say they're in separate rooms. And what makes it so that they don't go to the other room when they're in the same home that they jointly own? And better yet, they say they're in the same home. He already said that. And he also said they were married. An ex-wife going through a divorce. Did you hear going through? They're not divorced and they're in the same home. Women have to take that information and process it as it is, not as they want to hear it and receive it. They have to process it how it was said and deal with it accordingly, knowing the facts of the matter is he's still married. He's still in the house with you. So why would you be in a relationship with someone? Why don't you even ease out? Now, in situations like that, I do the moonwalk. I moonwalk right on out of that conversation because I'm not trying to go down that lane. Because by the time a woman gets into that relationship, under those circumstances, it's too late. She's already caught up. She's in love now. She's sharing her home with this man. Next thing you know, the woman is knocking on her door. That man's wife is knocking on her door. It's too much drama that could have been avoided if she never received it in the first place.
But a lot of times the women will go through all of that because, again, it goes back to what you're saying. She feels like she has the control and power to be able to get the results in which she wants.
Absolutely.
She'll fantasize how it's supposed to turn out.
Yes.
So she's already made the conclusion of how she wants the party to end.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's almost like, and young girls, I mean, look, when you were a little girl, you imagined to be married. You imagined how everything was supposed to be, what wedding dress she was going to wear, how he was going to be dressed, everything was planned out, and that's how a lot of women come into these crazy relationships because they feel like it's going to be different with me.
Yes.
This is how it's going to turn out, and I'm going to be in control of the narrative. I'm going to be in control. I'm the director of the script.
Absolutely.
And I am the producer, so I'm going to make everything happen the way I expect it to happen.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to make him the way I want him to be made.
Yes.
And it never turns out the way they want it to be turned. I mean, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And the women in the DMV area are very successful. And they feel like their salaries, their education, all of the above, their looks, their manicured nails, their hair doed up, they feel like they can get whatever they want. And I'm very much proud of that attitude. But when it comes to taking a man from a home that belongs to him and a wife, I'm ashamed that we women do that because we should be pulling back from situations like that. But no, just like you said, we receive that because we're gonna make it so he gonna love on me so much he ain't gonna want to go back and sleep in that separate room. He gonna be living in my house and he's gonna be going by what I want him to do. And first of all, a bad guy is never going to concede to a woman. That's not going to happen. You cannot conform a bad guy to listen to you and do as you say. And a lot of successful Black women, they are in control. They're in control at work. They're in control with their kids as single parents. So they are so used to being in control. And I want to tap into the reason why that is. The men are gone. The men are out of our lives. So that has made us empowered to be who we are today. And that's not a good thing, but that's how the cards have been dealt. And we have played our cards the best to our ability. So when we get into relationships, we don't turn that off. That's still on. We're still that powerful woman that's doing this and doing that, and we don't know how to turn that off. So even when we meet people, even when we're in relationships, we still have that power drill in our hands, that we're in control and we're managing that tool and we're doing what we have to do to survive. And we don't realize that all the time it's not what we are supposed to have. We're not supposed to go after that man who sat there in the dance club and told me that he's living at home with his wife. Why am I still entertaining a conversation with this man? Why? He's not going to be mine. He's somebody else's. He's not divorced. He's still at home. So we got to deal with the fact that first we have to fix us. Women have to fix us so that we can realize a good man when we see a good man. If we're all broken down, tore up from the inside out because of all the heartaches, all the pain we've gone through, we are not going to see that good man standing right in front of us. We're not going to see him.
Sonia, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of successful women out there, but they're unsuccessful in their relationships.
Yes.
You know, they might have a lot of money in the bank, but
yes,
they're emotionally bankrupt.
They are.
Yeah. So it's such the opposite. And once again, I have to go back to even college. You know, when young women are going into college, when other people are starting their education, you know, why not start looking there? You're not going to be young all your life. You're not going to be, you know, you're not going to have perky bosoms all your life. You've got to understand that sooner or later it's going to come to gravity. Gravity's going to hit you soon. So you're not going to be cute all your life.
That's true.
You can be as successful all you want or expect to be successful, but no one ever really puts any real emphasis on building a woman from the inside out.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And really building that part of her so that way she has confidence and she can carry herself with dignity, and she knows not to go for those type of jokers out there who's just out there willy-nilly. You know what I mean? So it's got to be some sort of standard that women have to put themselves to and keep each other accountable.
Yes.
Don't make fun. A lot of women will do. Some women will do this. They're in a group. They're talking about some guy. Oh man, you know, he gave me roses again. I mean, he gave me this. He always be calling me and this, that. He liking me and all this other stuff. And all the women are laughing at this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to something that's negative, and he ain't calling me, girl, you should just leave him alone. You know, I don't know why he's not calling you. I mean, you all that. No, she's not all that. And you need to tell her she's not all that. And you need to tell her, look, you need to stop making fun of that other dude who's really nice to you and just not talk to him. If he's interested in you, don't let him take you out to eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't be that dinner date. You
right.
know, well, he's nice and all, so then why are you still dealing with him if you're not interested in him? Why are you leading him on? Women need to tell other women,
right,
leave that guy on. You know you're not liking him. You know he's not interested in you.
Yes, we don't do that.
He paid my phone bill last week. Don't do that. Don't use people like that.
We do not look out for each other. Women are not accountable for each other. Women don't tell it like it is. Women today that I know prefer to hear what they want to hear, and they shy away from those that tell them what they need to hear. And that's why we don't grow as a unit. We don't grow as a gender because we're not there connected as a gender. We're separated. We're competing with each other. We're laughing at each other behind our backs. We don't want a person to a girlfriend to hook up with a guy that's good for her. We'd rather her hook up with the bad guy so we'd have something to talk about, particularly if we're not in a relationship at all. So you got all that crap going on out here. So there's nobody there for the good guy. And don't, now let's not just talk about the good guy. There's a good woman too that's being walked all over as well. But that's another story for another night. But these good guys, they have to take ownership as well. Run away from a woman who does not appreciate you.
Right.
Run away from her because she doesn't have the confidence in herself to love herself. So how in the world you are going to expect her to love you?
Right.
And second, men who are good guys and they're having a hard time connecting with women, go get help. Go to therapy, or get one of those coaches, or get some self-help books and practice with some sisters, because what you lack is interpersonal skills, how to flirt, how to compliment a woman, how to tell her that you're interested in her, how to communicate without saying something crazy that will turn her away. Think of, or watch a bad guy. Watch a bad guy. Don't take all that he has. Just watch how he communicates with a woman, because they do know how to communicate, because they've seen their daddies do it. They've seen their granddaddies do it. They've seen everybody in school do it.
Masters.
Yeah, they're masters at it. They've even seen teachers doing it.
The only difference is you're the nice guy, good guy. Their intentions need to be different. But yeah, the introduction, the way these bad boys, but the problem is that they don't know how to keep a relationship. I had a dude that was a player, and he asked me, he said, you know what, I can have the door wide open, but I just can't seem to finish it. Like, I can't seem to have a longevity. I mean, he says the longest he'd been in a relationship was maybe 4 to 6 months, and then after that, she gets tired of him. So introduction is stellar, you know what I mean? And like you said, if the nice guys can, and there's a lot of great information out there, there's a lot of great books out there, and that has helped me in my journey, you know, because I didn't have anyone to really show me. And women are not going to be honest with the nice guys. They're not going to say, you know what, I would have probably been more than just a friend with you if you would have done A, B, C, or D. You know what I mean? They're not going to give you that information, so you got to get that information other places. And there are a lot of materials out there, books and all sorts of coaches, as Tanya said, that can actually get you in the door and get you that second or third date, and get you the confidence that you need in order to really get the woman that you have interest in.
Yes.
The women that you have interest in.
And it's nothing wrong with taking your time to work on you as well. The way I say women need to be prepared in a relationship, so does the nice guy. He needs to be able to put up barriers. So if she comes at him, oh, she don't want to spend no time with me, but she need her phone bill paid. Oh no, If we can't be in a relationship, don't take advantage of me in that aspect. You either love me or you don't. But if you need me around just to make sure your kid get to play football for the year, oh no, we're not going down that route. If I'm not in, I'm not in. So you have to set standards too, because I think a lot of times these nice guys think, well, if I pay her phone bill, she gonna know I really like her. No, they just gonna come at you with another bill the next month. And it shouldn't be set up like that, because some women take advantage of good men and they use them, and they use them till they use them all up, and then they go back to the bad guy. I've seen good guys buy women cars, just like women let the men drive their car, and they pick up a girl and they go on a date in a woman's car. Women have a car that's been purchased by a good guy, and they letting the boyfriend, the bad boy, use the car. I mean, what's up with that picture?
Hey, I remember there's a college. There was a good guy. He nice guy. He had brought her some Valentine's presents, and she was very grateful. You know, she never advanced him or anything, but
Right.
she was very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
But then as soon as he left, right, then the bad boy showed up with some alcohol and some condoms.
Wow.
So he
Wow.
closed the deal. That's
Wow.
what he showed up with.
And
He closed the deal. So again, it's like you said, Tanya. You know, the nice guys just have to be educated and understand. Look, you know, if you're busy, don't pick up the phone. You call her back. It's
right.
okay. If
Right.
she doesn't call you back, it's okay.
Yes.
She's busy. Let her be busy. She'll get to you when she gets to you. If she doesn't get to you, you gotta move on to the next person.
Absolutely.
You just gotta have that attitude, and that's
You
what
do.
the nice guys need to understand.
You
The
do.
world does not evolve around a woman.
No.
It evolves around what you do.
Right.
So you're the lead. You do it. You take care of your business, and if you have the time, absolutely, you can go out with her and make time. But until then, the world does not stop around her, and you cannot sit there and start worshiping her as a goddess. It's just not acceptable.
And you good guys have to understand you got to have confidence in yourself as well. And keep them shoulders erect. Look up proudly. Know what you want in life.
Don't fold
right.
when she gives you a responsibility, and don't fold if it's something you don't know.
Exactly.
Find out. Get the information.
Yes.
You know, take the lead.
And don't be afraid of losing that relationship, because it ain't no relationship in the first place if you all nervous and insecure because of the way this person treats you. So you got to go in prepared to be in a relationship.
You got to go in prepared and knowing who you are.
Yes.
Knowing that and see, the thing about it, Tanya, is that a lot of men aren't prepared. And these go for the bad boys too. Bad boys are very insecure people, believe it or not.
They are.
They are. They can only really go with what's in between their legs. That's probably the best asset that they have going for them. You know, if they have material assets, then great. You know, that's even more power that they're able to go through a lot of different women. They can showcase that. But you know, they're just as insecure as anyone else, and a lot of times that has to do, Tanya, with the fact that men aren't being taught how to be a man.
Right.
There's so much emphasis on women empowerment that there's really any emphasis on how a young man should become a leader in his household, you know, in the church, in different areas of their lives. It's very rare. So a lot of times when guys get involved with in these relationships, they're kind of throwing it and guessing it and being like, well, I'm just going to guess and try to see if this works, you know? So they're just trying to figure it out as much as the woman is trying to figure out. But yeah, if they can get that confidence and get that manhood behind them, and understand, like you said, everyone needs to understand where they came from, Tanya.
That's right.
You know, you need to understand, look, when I was growing up, did my mother have different men coming in and out of the household when I was a little kid? You know what I mean? Maybe my a biological father wasn't around, so that made me lack in those certain areas. And my mother was, being a single parent, she was very nervous and having me go outside or play with other kids, so that kind of sheltered me.
Right.
So that, you know what I mean? And now you understand, oh, well, that's why I haven't been successful in relationships, is because I just never had that confidence, because my mother was always a nervous wreck when every time I tried to do something. So now I'm a nervous wreck. Now I don't have the confidence. So once you find that out, Tanya, then the man can start changing. You know, once you find your path, you can change it. And now you can start making steps toward, okay, I need to do this. I need to understand that. Now that I understand where I came from, now I see why I'm treating women this way. Now I'm seeing why I may not be strong in this area because I wasn't been taught, hasn't been shown. So you're absolutely right. Everything you said, you've absolutely hit it on the head.
Yeah, and that's a responsibility of both the good guy and the woman, because we got to know where we came from. Why are we the way we are? Why are we in these failed relationships? Why hasn't it stopped? Where is the vicious? Why is it a vicious cycle? What can I do to break this vicious cycle? We have to take responsibilities. We can't blame Tom, Dick, and Harry when we're the center. We're the vocal point in all of them. So at some point we got to look in the mirror and figure out what we're doing wrong and correct it. And I know people are saying she thinks she's all that and she's got it together, or she must think she's got it together. No, I've been in that situation where I had to figure out who the common denominator was, and it was me. I was the one in the vicious cycle, and the cycle had to be broken. Those gentlemen didn't know each other. It was me who knew all of them. So it was something I had to do to make some changes within my life. And when we as women learn to do that, we will recognize good men in our lives, and we will honor having a good man in our lives versus running from that good man, wanting to go with a bad guy. Because a lot of times that's where we're most comfortable. A good guy will make us work. A good guy will make us, well, wow, how, okay. If you're not used to that, that's going to take an effort on your part to learn to become used to that. And a lot of times we don't want to put in the work even for ourselves, because that's going to be good work for ourselves. And we don't want to even do that.
Yeah, and that's part of, it goes back to keeping each other accountable. The women, because the society that we live in, Tanya, doesn't really emphasize that. If you look at these talk shows, Tanya, it's mainly pointing fingers at the man, right?
Yes.
There's never anything that the woman had to do in order to change, because if that was the case, then guess what? It wouldn't be a talk show.
Absolutely.
Then it wouldn't be a need to have to come back next week, because the woman would then start to develop and get it and be like, oh, well, Steve Harvey said this, but really I need to do this. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So rather than worry about ratings, because that's why they really do this.
That's right. They're
receiving from these shows, so that's why they don't really tell the woman, you know what, maybe you're the problem. But they won't say that because they've got to continue to keep the ratings up, and it just looks better.
Exactly.
We throw the guy under the bus and we say, oh, he's no good. And girl, you doing what you doing, girl. You'll be okay, girl. You all right. You all right. But he over there, so that needs a switch.
It does.
That really needs a switch.
It does.
Because a lot of women, I'm telling you, Tanya, I talk to women all the time, and it's almost to the point where I'm saying enough is enough. Something needs to stop, and that's why I'm a nice guy's advocate, because I need to let these women know, look, enough of the therapy already.
Yes.
Let's just cut all that out, cut the fat out, cut the trauma out, and get yourself a nice guy. Know what a nice guy is. Know what a good guy is, so that way you cannot have to go through mad experience to then finally get it.
Absolutely.
Oh, now I understand it. But by that time, you're 3 kids out of wedlock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's more damaged than good, and you look a hot mess, and now you still want a nice guy? Come on.
Absolutely.
Let's start from the beginning. That's why we need to let the world know, you know what? Nice guys are okay. Let's give them a chance. Let's stop putting them in the friend zone, and let's look at them. Let's take a second look and really see who they are.
And stop being bored with a nice guy. I don't understand that. I've heard I'm bored. He's boring. He doesn't want to do nothing.
Well, he's boring because he doesn't know. He doesn't know he's boring. What is boring?
Right.
Exactly. He doesn't know. No one has told a nice guy, look, you're boring. You need to do this. He doesn't know. And guess what? Then it goes back to the woman. Well, is it because he hasn't cursed you out and it's boring? Because he doesn't use any 4-letter words towards you, or because he drives the speed limit?
Exactly.
You know, he doesn't cut anyone off. He's not threatening looking. So
Exactly.
he doesn't get into altercations with people behind the counter. I mean, and those type of people are the ones, again, who said they're boring. They really need to look at themselves and say, you know what, maybe because you're used to drama.
Exactly.
And you don't need to be with that guy. Save the nice guy. Let him, you know, he's not boring. But he's boring to you because you're used to all the crazy drama.
You're used to all the drama. And that is absolutely, we need to, we really, women, if we don't take anything out of this but tonight, is we need to evaluate ourselves. What is the most important thing in our lives? Who do we, ask yourself this question? Who do we want to be around? Someone who is fit for us, or someone we are trying to get fit for us? And we spend our short life, because our life is short. We spend our short life trying to conform somebody to be like you want them to be, as opposed to taking this nice, kind gentleman who is there ready to love you and love you as you are and love your children as you are, and not bring any other conditions into the relationship? Or do you want to chase somebody who's never going to be yours to begin with, even if you marry them, because you got them on wrong terms? You was dating him when he was living with his wife, so you started out with a bad foundation, and you think that's going to turn into goodness down the road? Why would you think that's going to turn into goodness down the road? It just doesn't work that way. My cousin says people who empower you. Right. Be in a relationship with someone who is going to make you grow, make you become a better person than you are. Not somebody who makes your hair go bald in the center of your head. And I'm speaking from experiences, making your hair go bald because they're bringing so much havoc into your life that there's never a good day. You're always fighting. You're always going through some drama. And you would turn down a good guy for what? Why? Why?
Yeah. We just gotta have more conversations like this, Tanya. We gotta have more conversations like this and really keep it out there, because everyone loves to talk about how guys are dogs.
I agree.
Everyone loves to talk about the bad boys. Everyone loves to talk about, making the woman the victim. We need to
absolutely switch it. I agree.
And we need to say, look, there are some good guys out there.
Yes.
And some of those guys are in the friend zone. Some of those guys are clueless, don't know how to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Because they just don't have experience. And we need to give those guys a second look.
I so agree with you. And you know what? I want to confess one thing. In my late 20s, I was divorced in my mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s. I did date a good guy, and I met a bad guy right after him, and I married the bad guy because he could do the Cabbage Patch. Can you believe that? He had swagger. He was charming. He knew what to say to me. He called me beautiful lady when he called me. And the other guy was a good government worker, educated, about 6'4", really tall and goofy, even talk goofy, talk like he was a special agent for the federal government. And I'm like, ew, the thought of him and me together, I just couldn't put it together. And I broke up with him. So I'm guilty of this. So now we got to have more conversations, because as I'm sitting here talking and I'm getting emotional about it, I'm starting to have some flashbacks that I'm too guilty of doing that in my life. And I know the other gentleman was raised very well by his mom, and he wouldn't dare cuss at me, call me names, and I did not marry him. I did not marry him.
Yeah.
So
women need to hear more stories about that.
yes.
You know what I mean? I know you had to go back and dig, and I know.
Oh my gosh, it was real. He could do the other one could dance. This one was goofy dancing. The other one had this swagger with him. That's my baby girl's father. We got married and everything. He could just swagger all over the dance floor. And he just made me feel like everybody was just watching me and him. The other guy would probably be doing the robot out there, and we've been stopped doing the robot. And I'm like, ew, I just can't do this. But he was so much better for me when I look back today. But I am 56 now. So ladies, hear me out. If there's a good in your life, and there's a fun, outgoing, suave, Ricky Suave kind of guy in your life, go with the good guy. That good guy will be there with you through thick and thin. That other guy does not know how to go through anything through thick and thin because he runs. He is not going to be there consistently, because when you get on his nerves, when you get sick, when you get down, when you can't do what you used to be able to do for him, he's going to find somebody else to replace you. That good guy will never do that to you. He will be there with you forever because that's his foundation. That's how he was taught. Even if his mother doesn't like you, he was reared to love you, and he will defend you. Even if his mama don't like you, he will love you forever. So looking back, take it from a 56-year-old woman, you better love on that man who's trying to love you and stop dissing him, because he will be the one for you forever. Trust me on that one. So Coy,
on that note, Tanya, I'll have to say good night.
Yes.
I think you wrapped it up really well.
That's all we need to say closing out. Coy, we need to have this conversation again on WBGR. So let me know sometime early October. Will you be the special guest so that we can keep this going? Because I want to be an advocate for the good guy too, because I wouldn't have been able to write I Am Still a Rose if I stayed with that good guy. I wouldn't have had any drama to write about, because he would have still been there. If he wouldn't have called me all them names, said I won't go to Mountain nothing, this man would have done none of that. So ladies, don't diss them. So I want to be an advocate with you, Coy, because good guys do finish last, because they stay there. They're there through the long haul. So we're going to close out on that. Coy, thank you for joining me today. You guys can see Coy on WBGR. He has his own segment on there. On what nights is that? Monday night at 7 p.m.?
Well, I think you just go to my Facebook page. Just go to Comedian Coy.
Okay.
Facebook page, Comedian Coy, that's COI. And they'll see all the updates. I have a show coming up on September 15th where I'll be doing some comedy on relationships, and it'll be a lot of fun. It's a single women's conference.
Awesome.
So you'll find out all that information on my Facebook page.
Alrighty. Comedian Coy. Okay, you guys.
If you want to like my page, you can like it. Just send me a message and say, hey, I know Tanya.
Alrighty, you guys, join Comedian Coy's Facebook page and like him so you can keep abreast of what's going on. He is definitely an advocate for the nice boys, the nice guys, because he is one. And he's also got some more things coming out, so you got to like him on his page to know what's going on. And he's also on WBGR, and that's where I am. Tomorrow night I'll be on WBGR with, what's the gentleman's name again, Coy? Bashir, to talk about his book. We will be on tomorrow night with Bashir, tomorrow at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Like me on I Am Still a Rose. And thank you so much for being here tonight. And thank you for dealing with us during this technical stuff. But we love you. I'm still a rose in spite of it all. And so are you. Talk to you later. Thank you. Thank you, Coy.
Right.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for joining us.
Sure.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Zach, how was practice? Zachary.